Welcome back to the 3R News Show, Lesson C today. Now, in this special moment, we want to discuss about a collaborative effort between Jakarta, Berlin, and Bangkok aimed at empowering smart city and urban innovation ecosystems.
Yes, and before we talk more about this, I have one question for you, Kai. So what do you think when you see the word of smart city?
Good question.
You think?
When I think of smart city, I think seamless integration.
Seamless integration.
So the transportation has got to be easy. Living here has got to be easy. So everything technology innovation is supposed to make life easier.
Right.
And yeah, and a lot, it takes away a lot of the stress levels, if you may put it that way.
I
couldn't
hope
agree
that
more.
way too. And in my opinion, we can think also about good mobility
Yep.
and big data integration. I don't know if it's always and not always if it's included in our next discussion. I think we need to find more about the Smart Change project related to this. So we will talk more to Smart Change Program and Content Manager, Alecia Firnanda, who is already here. Hello, Alecia.
Hi.
How are you?
Nice.
So
Love your outfit.
Yeah.
I love her
Green.
shoes.
Thanks.
Part of Smart City. So yeah, first question. So can you tell us more about the Smart Change project?
Okay, thank you guys for having me. It's my pleasure to represent my project. So Smart Change is a governmental project that happened between Jakarta and Berlin based on sister city partnership that happened since 1994.
Wow.
So it's probably almost 3 decades now. And then we applied a grant to the European Union. And then we, together with Jakarta and Berlin, collaboratively implement Smart Change through the Partnership for Sustainable Cities program. So the aim of our project is actually to address urban challenges. And then we focus on good urban governance and also to foster the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Jakarta. And what makes it unique is actually that we also collaborate with Bangkok, building upon the existing sister city partnership as well with Jakarta and Bangkok. So basically, we're gonna promote the good exchange, good practices between the stakeholders to also share innovative ideas. So basically, we're gonna embrace the international collaboration from 3 cities.
Interesting.
Oh, sounds very interesting. It sounds very wide scope.
Yeah.
But if you could narrow us down to give sort of a better understanding of what are the fields that you work with. And you mentioned before that it basically touches the urban issues.
Yeah.
Here specifically in Jakarta, what are the concerns and goals that you have in regards to the urban issues that you mentioned before?
Yep. So the project has 2 aims, 2 main agendas actually. First is to strengthen good urban governance, to be more informative, transparent, and also collaborative. And second one is to foster the entrepreneurial ecosystem, such as like we're gonna have this kind of entrepreneurship ecosystem to be more inclusive, for example, and then to be more sustainable as well. And then I agree, if we talk about smart city and urban innovations, it's something like very heavy topic. It's so segmented topic. But what we do is to involve citizens collaboratively, inclusively, and also closely with the government. So basically what we do is to connect the citizens, what their concerns about, what is their, what they worry about living in the city, for example, what issue they face in the organizations before we talk to build the city even greater, something like that. So Jakarta actually have 7 smart city pillars. I can mention it. It's like smart governance, mobility, environment, like you mentioned, and also economic, people, living, branding, like so many of them.
You have to add the branding, right? That's so 21st century.
I've mentioned one, the mobility.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then every smart city pillar have its own challenges and issues. So it's like it's gonna take a week of discussion to just break it down one by one. But then what we do is like we invite local communities, citizens, startups as well, to meet the government and to talk about their concerns and talk about their own issues.
Okay.
Because it happens actually in Berlin and Bangkok. They have this kind of discussion with the governments to support their policy making. So the public services they have, it's based on the real case, real experience by the citizens.
So this project is the bridge between, you know, the on the field and actual worries and day-to-day
Yes.
urban issues that the citizens, you know, that the citizens still have to go through, and this then being sent to the government.
Exactly. I used to be like skeptical individual when talking about public services, you know, the political figure. But then when I was working with the government, I witnessed the real bureaucracy, and these young people are very, you know, vocal to speak about it, and also the government welcoming them all. And I think now the challenge is how to keep continuing this, not only within our project, but also you know, creating new projects, and then like more connection with the government and citizens. So we eliminate the gap a little bit, like that.
I was about to ask this, but Alecia has mentioned it that some of the challenge eliminate the games, yeah?
Yes.
For the issue. Okay, let's move up to our next question. Collaboration is key in building a smart city. So talking about this, how are Jakarta, Berlin, and Bangkok collaborating in this initiative?
Yes, it's so unique because Jakarta, Berlin, and Bangkok have their own
Character.
Yes, cultural aspect. We differ from culture, political, right, economy, demography, geography. But then one common thing that we have is like we want to pursue a better living for our citizens. That's the common thing that we have. But how this established is basically we do peer-to-peer exchange. So we visit each city and we invite also the government workers to Berlin and Bangkok and to see what's the difference. So basically we go from there, from the differences, but then we realize that we have the same value to build a greater city, something like that.
So my question being, we've talked about how to achieve smart city, but what's the end goal? What's the actual vision of what a smart city should be like for Jakarta first? Because I feel like, yes, we have these pillars, we have basically the aim to reduce urban issues and things like that, but at the same time, how do we know what to aim? Do we have something to aim for? Like, what is the vision of the ideal smart city for Jakarta, for instance?
Yeah. For Jakarta itself, after not being a capital city anymore, after this, so Jakarta aims to be a global city. And then this project, Smart Change, give access and also give a place to citizens to define the smart city itself. So it's not going to be, you know, only experts who talk about it, but it's more relatable with the citizens, with the people who we actually live in the city. For example, on our last activation with community, there are some developed communities being invited, and they talk about it, and they talk what smart city will look like in the future for them. That's the definition of how we could implement smart city for our future. And they said, okay, I want to have you know, an inclusive career path in Jakarta, because not all of them want to run a business. Because the narration, the existing narration is like developed communities can start a business and they can, you know, like run it themselves and then motivate other developed communities. But many of them want to engage in the real career path, being a worker, being an employee of a company. And that's really hard, still big challenge for them, because there is no inclusivity mostly in our again in job opening, interview, and so on. So they wish the smart city and Jakarta as global city is like being inclusive for them, so they can compete with non-developed communities as well, because they always be the most vocal individual even in the community.
I mean, when you hear the word smart, you think it's always about more innovations and things
Yep.
like that. But it turns out it's actually the innate issues, and DEI is a very big part of
Yep.
our steps to change.
Your expectation at DEI, or we can say
No, I'm passionate about it.
you're passionate. Yeah, I'm passionate about it as well. And we can say that it's also applied the principle of GACI, the
Yes.
gender equality and social
Yes.
inclusivity in this topic. And before we move to the next question, I still have the curiosity about, when we talk about the sister city, but this about the 3 capital city.
Yes.
It's a big city.
It's a big city.
It's not easy to make to find a common ground for the 3 capital city for being a sister city. So, are there any particular areas of expertise or resources that each city contributes to the project?
Yes.
From Berlin, Jakarta, and Bangkok.
Yeah. Yes, they're big cities and they have their own expertise. For example, Berlin, they're so well known for being a leading startup city in Europe. And also Bangkok for their, their agenda, Thailand 4.0, and choosing and assigning Bangkok to support that agenda. And also Jakarta gonna be global city. Their collaboration established during our program called peer-to-peer exchange. They travel to the 3 big cities and discuss about the pressing challenge in their own cities. And we exchange so many expertise there. For example, like these young people in Berlin, they have created a movement, for example, and they have this one called City Lab Berlin. It's basically same like us, connecting the citizens who have interest in digitalization, AI as well, and then they make it more, like inclusive. They use old shipping container. They do it like, okay, there is coffee table, so you can just like talk about it, and then like what happens in your neighborhood and what can be supported by our Senate, for example. And that part totally different with what we face in Jakarta. It's like, it's so challenging to gather people just to talk about, okay, what happened in your neighborhood? Is there anything that we can help, something like that? So the strategic planning, we'll learn about that so much between each country. Also happened in Bangkok. If you're aware of Jaki, did you use Jaki?
Yeah.
Yes.
The apps here in Jakarta.
Exactly, like you can report, some challenges you find in the street and do reporting. But in Bangkok, they use Line. Did you still use Line, or like we have? We don't say.
It still exists, I know.
Yeah, but
it's big. Yeah.
But the user there is
It's less
yes,
popular.
yes. We have Jaki here in Jakarta, but they use Line to do reportings, and the connection between their local government and the citizens are really active. And I think it's unique because we have different tool, different background as well, but the
Same approach.
yes, same approach, something like that. So we learn a lot from the cities, and also Berlin and Bangkok always take a look at Jakarta, what we did so far in through the Jaki Super app, for instance.
Wow.
And I think,
I mean,
Pretty much.
it's certainly really interesting because the citizens have the power to report things, and the government, through these applications, have the possibility of instantly, lifetime, seeing what's happening
Exactly.
around. So certainly a really, really great achievement. So in terms of the future, right? What do you see? What are the future plans for smart change? So are there going to be more activations, perhaps, or
Yes.
more things that you would like to share with us?
yes. Sadly, Smart Change ended this year, but then we will keep continuing the collaboration and also the more activations with Jakarta Smart City, because Jakarta and Berlin just signed joint collaboration on technology and innovation. So it's signed by the Undersecretary for Economics and Affairs of DKI Jakarta, Bu Sri Haryati, and also the Berlin Mayor Senator, Ms. Franziska Giffey. So the aim for the future is we're gonna have a joint group from the city's representative. So implement the plan that throughout the last years by Smart Change. So basically the policy recommendations that have been resulted by the project will be coordinated within the provincial government.
I mean, it's good to hear that the information and the knowledge bank doesn't go to waste. That now that the project is, the project is closed, but we're glad that it's going to come to fruition.
I have one little quick question. So, Smart Change just launched the Future City Hub. Is there any emphasizement on public conversation? Participation, I mean, public participation.
Okay, so there is one memorable story of how we established finally and opened the Future City Hub. So basically after the delegations trip, and then we met so many young people from the cities, and then building the hub, innovation hub. So Jakarta Future City Hub finally opened as a go-to place for smart city innovation in Jakarta. And the aim is to invite and reconnect the citizens to be, discussing the depressing challenge they face being citizen, and then meet the government. So it's really happening because, we sometimes have things in mind and then we tweet it, and then now we have the place to meet the governments and talk about it. Directly.
Where? Where is it? Is it near from here?
Yes, it's near. It's in Jakarta Box Tower. In Sabang.
Yeah.
It's near from here,
it's
Sabang.
Right behind.
Exactly. It's 400 meters.
400 meters.
It's walking distance.
Walking distance from city.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jakarta Future City Hub, yeah?
Yes. Because the aim is like, in smart city, there is one famous term about proximity principles, that when you can reconnect citizens with governments, there is tendency or bigger tendency to create better policy making, better public services. So that's the big dream of our Future City Hub. And for the entrepreneurial ecosystem as well, we wish that we can meet the startups and also local communities with potential investor as well. Again, for those who have interest in digitalization and then any services, digitalized services to tackling city problems, we can do that in our Future City Hub.
Wow.
Interesting. After this, we can try this?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
Go to Sabang.
With the walking distance.
Yes.
Look at it.
Because the idea in the digital
open.
era, everyone thinks just doing online, but anyway, we still need kind of like this, like meeting directly.
Because it's assurance that whatever information we give, it's an official, it's official think tank or tank of, getting the information that will be given to the right people.
Right.
So, Alecia, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And for sharing, and all the best success, of course, for future endeavors.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So we are going for another break.
Yes, and after the break, we'll take a look at business updates from Indonesia and beyond. Stay tuned right here on the 3R News Show, and see you today.